Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I hope you're all doing well today. The reading for today is the sense of finding light in the darkness and finding your North Star, and the sense of letting go of these feelings of darkness or anything that's holding you back and opening up your heart to something greater and allowing this light to flow into you. So I pulled here the Star card, of course, in the center, and then on either side we have the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Swords, and both of these cards have this feeling of a blockage around the heart. So I feel like you might be dealing with this feeling of a blockage in your heart chakra, or maybe you've been having these physical sensations in your heart that have been maybe new to you or a little bit strange. And I'm not necessarily talking about some biological thing. I mean, if you're having strange sensations in your heart, go to the doctor, of course, but I'm talking more on an energetic level. And I feel like there is a sense of losing those blockages so that the waters may flow freely. And this relates to just your intuition and your emotions. And also there's just a sense of this wisdom of like Mother Earth that you're getting in touch with. And maybe looking at the stars could be important to you at this point. Maybe just like going outside and looking up at the sky a little bit. Especially if you're someone who spends a lot of time looking at a screen, it's actually really good to look at something that's a far distance away if you've been looking at something that's really close up to you for so long. So just like going out and doing some stargazing would be really good for you. But I am really getting the strong feeling of something around your heart being blocked, and like maybe you have had this feeling of literally being stabbed in the heart. Like it feels like there's a sword stuck through your heart and it's just stuck there. And if this resonates with you, let's pull a few cards and figure out how you can try and unblock this. Alright, so we have the Empress. So again, this is this feeling of being close to Mother Earth, of being really close to the flowing waters that are running through a very verdant field. And then we have the Queen of Swords. So I feel like this is a really strong feminine energy that you might connect to right now. And this doesn't mean you have to be a woman. It just means there is a sense of an instruction to connect more to your feminine energy. And it's about using discernment in order to connect to this. Of, you know, maybe using some mental intention on how you can connect to your feminine energy, because it is something quite intuitive that relates less to the mind and more to the body, but at the same time there are certain choices you can make on the mental level in order to connect more to your body. And this is something that it's like a very subtle shift, and maybe it doesn't necessarily always correspond to direct actions, but it's just something about paying more attention, making the decision to stop thinking and to focus your attention on sensation. And I feel like that is why, like, I think maybe there's certain thoughts that you're having that are causing the sword to become even more deeply embedded, and it's really like releasing those thoughts. And yeah, like almost like these thoughts are almost like daggers sticking into you. So just more about getting into your body, getting more into this sense of just being a biological creature, of understanding that you are animated by some sort of life force, and that that is such a magical thing, and that getting caught up in your thoughts is almost like a distraction from this beautiful magical process that's taking place within you every day. Every breath is this new feeling of being animated by this life force, that it's something that is very mystical. It's something that has been flowing through all of history. You know, even before humans existed, this life force was still animating all of these prehistoric animals and plants. And it's like really getting in touch with that energy of this thing that is flowing through you, and this life force that you can get in touch with. And again, like I mentioned, looking at the stars can be valuable. Maybe looking at trees or looking at living animals when you go out of your house, just like looking at the birds and really feeling connected to those as well. Just the sense of like this magic where you can look at a tree and the branches of the tree that spread out almost look like the veins of a human body. So just getting really in touch with that, of feeling like you're part of nature, and just, yeah, understanding your animal nature could be really important to you at this time. Alright, so we have Judgment, and this is this feeling again of like releasing the clothing and just looking at the naked form of the figures. And it's like this higher level of like, you know, sometimes you could get caught up in ego and in thoughts because you're being judged on the level of the world, of, you know, just the people around you are saying things on the level of mind about who you are, about, you know, your value in this world. You know, it could relate to your appearance, or it could be relating to how much money you make or the job you have, or just, the words you speak. Sometimes people will be judging you on that level, and sometimes that's where you get caught up in thoughts, and that's where this feeling of these swords sticking into your heart and blocking that natural flow could come from. Whereas when you look at judgment on this higher level of like the angels trumpeting down, your value is not assessed on by any of these things on, how much money you're making or what job you have. It's like you are inherently valuable as a part of this life force, of the human race, this living entity that is this collective unconscious, but also just the Earth's consciousness. Like Mother Nature has a very vivid imagination, and she has imagined the human race, and she's imagined you as a very essential component of that. Like the world could not exist without you, essentially. And that's not some sort of delusions of grandeur, but it's just that every person exists for a reason. Like the sense of this butterfly effect, where it's like just the world you live in could not exist without you, if that makes sense. And it's not necessarily anything, again, on the level of mind or of direct action, of like there's something that you specifically need to do in order to assert yourself as your life's purpose. It's just the fact that you have a purpose. Like you're very important in that sense. You're not more important than anyone, but it's that everyone is important. And getting in touch with that feeling of like there not being a hierarchy of, like no one is more important than another. The kings on this world have no bearing on the true value judgment that is rained down from the heaven, that shows us that we are all equal on this earth. We're all naked in the eyes of God, essentially. Okay, so we have death. So again, there's this strong feeling of something being killed and being reborn anew, and we're getting a lot of major arcana coming out in this, which is very interesting. I'm getting the sense of, again, this dethroning of the old king and the crowning of a new king, in which a new light is rising. And you can look at this on many levels of what is being killed and what is being reborn, or maybe less so that anything is being killed, it's just that it happens to die, to fall away naturally. And that is the figure of death. Is like death is quite impersonal. Death does not specifically say, okay, well, I really dislike this person, so now I'm going to show up at their door. It's just the sense of fate of that death's horse simply moves forward. So there is a sense of understanding, again, on the biological level, that you are a living being who will one day die, and just accepting that fact, but then that granting you more appreciation for life, and this feeling of like not being so separated from other people, of any sort of feeling of like a continuation of your consciousness after death, kind of maybe releasing some of those notions and understanding more that you're just one wave in an ocean, and that when that wave falls back down and rejoins the water, every semblance of it is lost, right? It's not like you could reform that exact same wave out of these particles of water, but a new wave will still rise out of the water, just as a new life will come to this earth after your death. And it's not feeling like you need to cling to any notion of like wishing, oh, I wish I could be that frozen wave for forever and ever. It's just being like okay with the fact that one day your wave will fall and become one with things again, and that's okay. And this really relates to the sense of this ego death, of like losing all these feelings about like what people have told you are and what your place is in the world, and just understanding that you are just a biological being, just as every ant has their place in the colony, or any bird is just flying through the sky openly with freedom. It's a similar feeling of like, okay, you don't necessarily need to be anything on the ego level. Like just allow yourself to live and exist as a biological natural creature, right? And there's also this feeling of letting old notions fall away, and this almost like this throning of this higher consciousness that's being born in you. So maybe if there was this feeling of being held back, of having some damage in your heart, of just not being connected to your true nature, like that version of you is dying, and a new version is being born that is just embracing your present state, embracing your existence, and just really thriving as a living being, and not feeling so restricted by the ties of the mind. All right, and coming out here is the Five of Swords. And again, this is a card that is very much associated with ego, of these ego battles. And I feel like there is a sense of leaving them behind, of like if there were any situations that you were engaged in where you felt like you were being brought back to that state of really identifying with your ego, and of these stories of who you are, of like what people are telling you are, is to like leave those battles behind, but also to walk away with some sort of feeling of what you can collect out of those lessons. Like I feel like you can learn a lot in the world from like on this higher level just by your interactions with other people, but you don't have to let those interactions define you. It's like watching a movie and being entertained by the movie and maybe picking up some interesting quotes or, just interesting observations from it, but not identifying with the movie characters. Like, sometimes you'll watch a sad movie and you might shed a few tears, it really moves you in that strong emotion, but you're not going to sit there sobbing for hours and hours over the sad thing that occurred in this movie. And it's a similar approach to your life. It's like leaving that ego identification behind that would have caused you to really get caught up in your thoughts about like, oh, what do these people think about me? What is this one person thinking about me? And why did this happen to me? Why did this person do that to me? All of these feelings of just like letting all those thoughts go and just settling into you as you are now and being in the present moment and just being able to thrive in that and not need anything else, not need any external validation, and just, again, being naked in the eyes of God is really the sense that I'm getting. It's just like you are existing as you are. There's nothing that you need to decorate yourself with or any sort of veneer you need to build up. It's simply existing as you are. Right, and justice. So this is again this feeling of just some sort of decision being made and the scales being perfectly balanced. So the sense I'm getting is you are making the decision to balance yourself in the sense of equilibrium, of being very much regulated, of being present in the moment and pouring into your body and mind equally, where I feel like it's so much easier to get stuck in this more Apollonian mindset, to talk in Camille Paglia's terms. It's just like this sense of this more masculine aspect, this rigid aspect that is trying to get us caught up in thought, and balancing more with that feminine nature that is less prioritized in our daily life. And like, it could be that some people are a little bit more skewed towards their feminine nature and don't have this balance and need to bring in more of the masculine energy. But I think you could generalize and say that our society is skewed towards the masculine energy, and that is what most people are prioritizing. So that's why the general advice would be to balance more towards the feminine side, and also because we had the Empress card coming out. But, of course, if this doesn't resonate with you and you feel like you need to balance more towards the masculine side, that could be something you're doing as well. But it's just this really this strong sense of like this higher level of knowing, of understanding that you need to be balanced. Where on the ego level there could be all these conflicting feelings of like, what should I do? What should I be doing with my life? What should my career be? What should I be doing to make more money? But I think on this higher level you understand that it's really just about maintaining this equilibrium in the present moment. Okay, and I dropped the King of Pentacles here. So there is this sense of, like really being in touch with yourself, of being in touch with this core nature of yourself, of this material quality of your being, as well as like the spiritual quality of it too. Of like the pentacle can be said to represent the image of the self as well as the image of the human body. So there is this sense of like having a lot of respect for your physical form, but also respecting the spiritual form that lies beyond it. Where like again, if you get too identified with your material form, this can sometimes bring you into ego identification sometimes, where it's like, oh, I am a 5'2" Asian skinny woman, and people will tell you that all the time. They'll say like, oh, that's the thing that's attractive about you, or that this is who you are, this is how I see you, right? And then it's easy to get identified with that and then be like, okay, this is what I am, so then this is the list of things that I can be because of who I am. And it's like moving beyond that, and like I mentioned, tapping more into this sort of essential self, of this timeless quality, where it's like, yes, the wave happens to exhibit all these qualities that can align with these labels, but one day the wave will fall and you're going to become dust again. It doesn't really matter all that much what you look like on the surface level. It's really about this gem of the self that is inside you, that is this unique expression of the collective consciousness. All right, let's draw one more card to wrap up this reading. Right, so the Knight of Cups. So I feel like what this card is advising you to do is to keep moving forward and to cross onto the other side of the river. Like I mentioned, Death's horse continues forward, and you can see the Death's horse and the Knight of Cups horse are in the exact same position. So it's this feeling of riding with Death's horse and understanding that the only way to go is forward. Like, you can't undo the past, you can't go back, you can't change anything. It's just about going forward. And again, like crossing this river is the sense that I'm getting of like, we see the waterfall appearing in the Empress card, and then again this river that is being poured out of the figure on the Star card, or out of her jug. And so there's a sense of just like the river is this feeling of the intuitive flow and the forward flow of life, and just the motion of the world, of the passage of time as well. And it's just about crossing onto that other side where, like, previously you had been on one side of the river where you had been in these thoughts of, yeah, just in your thoughts in general, of just like who you should be, what you should be doing, and, you know, really being tied in some ways to your physical form as well. And then crossing onto the other side where you are now detached from all of those feelings. It's like accepting that, yes, on one level it is true that I am all these things, but understanding this higher truth that you are connected to this essential timeless self. And that is what lies on the other side of the river, when you follow your intuition and go with the flow of things. And you present yourself up as an empty vessel in this case. Like, you can see the Knight of Cups cup is empty. That you present yourself as a vessel for, you know, just this may God's will be done through you, if you want to put it in those terms. But just allowing yourself to, like I mentioned, you know, Mother Nature is a very vivid imagination. To imagine with her, to brainstorm with her, to let her imagination flow into you, and to animate yourself with that essence, rather than trying to animate yourself mechanically through the level of thoughts and be like a little robot about, you know, I've been told that I should make this money, you know, I should get a mortgage, so therefore I'm going to do these things and like animate myself on that level. Whereas Mother Nature, you know, she doesn't tell a bird to go make money. No, she tells the bird to go fly through the sky and then, you know, go peck at a tree and eat some bugs or whatever, right? And that is the message that's being given to you, is to allow yourself to imagine with Mother Nature, to keep on flowing, and to just be in that empty vessel state. And that is where you will remove these daggers of the mind that the mind has stuck into your heart, and that is blocking your heart chakra from truly allowing your body to flow in that sense. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm running a special promotion until the end of February where all my 20-minute personalized readings will be only $25 Canadian. So if you're interested in snagging one of those personal readings, please email me to the email that is in the video description. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.